Hello, crafting friends. Welcome to Crescent Moon Crafts, where we always ask what's on the crafting table today. Today we have May's Birthstone Angel Ornament, and I'll be using the husking board today to show you how to make these little fairy-like wings that are different than the other angels that were previously made in April and March. So I made this May Birthstone Angel out of a jewel-toned emerald paper because emerald is May's birthstone. And then I brought in May's second birthstone, agate, in a very rough, loose representation of blue lace agate with this blue and wooden turquoise colored bead here. Everything else is relatively the same. I did wrap the dress a little bit differently to give it a little bit more flow and a little bit more bell shape than previously the previous angels that were made. The halo, the hanger, the dress itself is all the same. So all of that, if you've watched the other videos, you already know how to do. So the only difference, that major difference anyway, is the use of the husking board, like I said, to make these fairy-like wings. All right, hopefully you'll enjoy making this angel with me. Let's get crafting. So in case you are wondering what a husking board is, this is the board itself with the little peg holders and the horizontal slots that you can do different things with, but primarily we'll be focusing here. It's got a little pull-out section that contains all of the pens with two slotted pins that are gold, and then the rest are just solid little bar pins that are silver. And so you take this out and you place your pens in the pegboard to create different designs and shapes. So for the wings, I'm going to set up the husking board in a kind of a V pattern. And what I want to do first is find that gold pen. And I usually just kind of dump everything out to find it. But here's one. And the gold pen is essentially just like the end of your quilling tool. Your quilling tool here, but without the handle. So it fits in here so you can work with it because it doesn't have the handle. So it is slotted, as you can see there, hopefully. It's a little hard to see, but it is slotted. And this is the first peg that you're going to put down as the base of your design. I'll zoom in a bit here. So what you will do is you're going to design your pattern starting with this pen. So I want my base of my design to be down here. And I'm going to use now the silver rod pens here, these silver rod pins, to create the middle part of my design. So I know that I want another loop somewhere in the middle and then another loop up top. So again, creating a quilling comb pattern, but as you can see here, I could skip every other rung or skip 2 rungs and get the same effect. But what I can't get is a flare out. And that's what I'm going to be creating with more silver pens. There it is. So now I'm going to come down in this V pattern of a flying V, I guess. Upside down flying V shape. And I'm going to put pens going down. I call them pens. You might call them pegs. It's like that golf game that you play at the restaurants, you know, where you skip every other one. And I think I'm going to do 1, 2. Oh, actually, I think I'm going to do 4 because I don't want a huge wing. So I'm just going to stop there. So I'm going to put 4 on either side of this top peg. So that's going to be my pattern. That's all that I'm going to use. And I'm going to make 2 of these. And I'll show you how to make 2 of those. So I'm going to be using these strips here. This is a jeweled toned paper from Quilled Creations, and it's actually emerald. So the color is emerald, which is May's birthstone, or one of them. And so I thought it was fitting to go ahead and make the angel out of this. So I have some strips here that I'll be using. And for the 2 wings, you need, out of this package, approximately 1.5 strips per wing. Now, you may not use the entire half of the strip, but I just like to be prepared. I didn't like exactly measure it, but I do know that a strip and a half will cover the wing. So I just need 1. So I need 3 strips here. So you get 3 strips, cut 1 in half. I'm doing here. And then we're going to glue that half to the full strip. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on one end, grab a full strip, and put the 2 together. Like that, and then I'll do that to the other one. Okay, so I've got them both glued, and I'm going to keep my glue handy because I will be using it at the end after I get all of this wrapped around. Now, the hardest part about starting a husking board is getting it into that slotted peg here. And let me zoom in a bit more here and see if I can show you how to do this. But you do treat it just like a quilling tool, and you put it in like that, just like a quilling tool. And I like to leave a little bit on the end there and then just start rolling it up. And you want to do several rolls simply because when you start out wrapping, you're going to pull it, and it's going to take some of the slack that you have here wrapped around this peg. So you want quite a bit of wrapping, probably maybe 10, but something kind of like that thick there. You can see that there. So something like that. Okay. Now, alternatively, I can't talk today. You could glue this coil to the strip, but I just find it's easier to go ahead and just give yourself some slack with it. All right, so we're going to go ahead and put it there, and you can see, hopefully when I let go, it's going to uncoil, and that's your slack that you're going to want to have. All right, so I like to turn my board as I am moving it around the husking board. So I'm just going to try to get this right so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to take the base here and go up to this middle peg, wrap it around, and I'm going to turn my board, and I'm pulling. So you can see that this is pulling there, and I'm going to wrap again, and I don't want to pull it off of that slotted tool. Turn the board, come up around, and go to this top peg. Wrap that around, and what I'm trying to do is get enough tension down here so that that paper doesn't come off of the slot. Come back around and pull. Pull pretty tight. There we go. Then I'm going to wrap around the base again. And instead of going on the outside, I'm going to come to the inside here. Sometimes you have to use your tweezers to make the paper get in there. But if you just push that aside, so come up here, wrap around here, wrap that like that, come down to your base, peg, pull. Whoops. Want everything to be pretty tight. This is what I'm talking about here, where you need the tweezers. You gotta sometimes push that paper over to where the side there. Pull, come back up this base, peg here, and then we're gonna go on the inside here. I'm gonna go on the inside right here and come up around this peg. Come around that peg, down. Grab your tweezers if you need to make it sit down. Pull, pull, and come down around that base peg again. Come up the inside. Come up this peg here and around. Like that. Go down towards the base there. Come up on the inside. I'm going to go around this peg here. Loop it around to the base. Inside. Loop around to the base. Inside. Loop around this peg if I can get it in there. To the base. Pulling as you go. On the inside. Around. And then our last peg. And we're going to come up here. Our pin. And there we go. Okay, so we have looped all of the pins. And what I like to do is put a little glue here at the base. Come around and just secure it like that. Then what I like to do is glue each of these little bumps. So I put some glue on the side. Oops. And then I put a little dot of glue on each of these bumps here. And then I'm going to wrap it. And that just gives you a very nice, clean finish to the wing. And it looks really, really delicate and fancy and nice. It's just really pretty. I love how these wings turn out. And I'm pulling pretty tight because I do want all of that to adhere. Take my small scissors and do a little snip at the end. Put a little bit more glue on that just to secure it around the bottom. Like that. And all of that should dry clear enough. So then what I like to do is I'll just take my tweezers here and I'll make sure that that's all adhering nicely. I'm going to run it along those bumps. Like so. Just to make sure it's all sticking together. Then I'll let it sit there for a little while. And let it dry. Didn't take long. And then I just carefully, while I'm holding down this pin here, I just carefully lift up. And any pins that are coming with me, I just push them back down. Because they will come out and they will go flying everywhere. So a word of advice is, and I didn't do it this time, but I know my pattern. If you are working with a husking board and you're not entirely sure if that's the pattern you want to work with, or you lose all of your pens while you're working with your pad, pulling it off, and you don't remember, take a picture of your pens before you start your project. That will save you so much heartache, because I have had times where my pins will go with my design and I'll lose them all. And I'm like, how did I have that set up again? And I would have to go pull up the picture off of my phone and get the pattern all over again. All right, so you can see here my slack didn't really create that first coil that I wanted. But that's okay. We can always just we can just snip that off, and then we can put some glue down like that, and then just push it down there and make it behave. Okay, there we are. A little bit too much glue, but okay. So now you're going to have something like that. And I'm going to zoom out just a bit so I can show you what I'm going to be working with. And now we can kind of design our wing. So I'm going to pinch here at the bottom to kind of make it a point. And then I'm going to pinch here at the top, and I'm going to curl the end up like so. Take it and pinch and curl the end up like that. So I'm just bending it like that. So it looks something like that. Isn't that pretty? It's just so delicate and nice. It's just beautiful. I love this design for a wing. Okay, so I'm going to make another one. So that's the end of the husking board. And so we have 2 angel wings there, like that. And push this down just a smidgen more. Just because and wait for that glue to dry so it doesn't show. But yeah, should be all right. Or we can just do that if we want to. But there we go. 2 angel wings. All right, let's go ahead and make the rest of the angel. All right, so I've put the husking board away, and now I'm going to grab my quilling comb. And the quilling comb, the dress of the angel anyway, is going to be made on the quilling comb like it has been for all of the other Birthstone angels that I've made in the past. If you haven't checked those out, you can go and see March's and April's Birthstone angel ornaments and see how I've done those as well. But for May, we are going to take 3 of our strips and use those to make the dress. I think on these strips, because of the length that they are, my other angels will go to the number 8 rung on the quilling comb. This one tends to go up to a 9, so I just went ahead and went with it and wrapped it around to the 9 instead of the 8. So normally I go to the 8, but these strips are a little bit different in length. So that. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have my 3 parts to the dress here. Let's go ahead and make the head. So for the head, you're going to need 2 full strips of the emerald green and glue those end to end. So you take 2 full strips, and the head isn't going to be any different whatsoever from the other angels that I've made, nor is the hanging piece. Pretty much it's just the wings that are going to be different. However, I am using a different thickness of paper. I'm using 3mm instead of 5, I believe. I think it's 5 or 1/4 inch. And so it's going to give it a completely different look than the other ones that I did, say for, I think March. March was kind of like a more chunky one. Okay, so we're going to glue those 2 together and take our quilling tool, and we're just going to make a very, very tight coil. Ugh, I don't think I got any glue on that. I got it all over the rest of the coil though. Okay, then you can take a dome guide if you have one. I just use my pinky half the time. But you can take this dome guide here and you can put it on the 10 and then the 12. So just go ahead and push it down on the 10 and then round it out even more on the 12. Go back and forth like that. Then you get a good, nice rounded dome shape. And that's going to be the head. And the reason I do it this way is because the hanging piece sits inside here. And so it makes it a lot easier. It makes it more clean, I guess, a clean look on the back. Then I put a lot of glue back there. And I take a paintbrush that I don't mind having glue on. And I just kind of smear all of that around. And we let that dry. And what this does, it just helps keep that dome shape so it won't sink back in. It won't collapse in on itself. It'll remain like this forever. Okay, let that dry. So we have our components here, parts of the dress. We're going to come back to the dress in a little while because we're not finished with that. The head, I just wanted to get the head dry, head and the coil piece dry. So you can take approximately an 8.5 inch strip of emerald, and using your needle tool, go ahead and make a coil with that. And the reason we use the needle tool is because we don't want a closed center. We want it really open. So we're just going to roll that piece of paper onto the needle tool. And the thing I'm finding about these jewel tone pieces of paper, they act like cardstock. They don't really, act like the normal 3mm paper. So they're a little bit more difficult to work with in the terms of like they act exactly like cardstock. They don't bend really well. But once you do get it, of course it turns out really well. There, I got it going. Okay. But I like the look. I love the look. of these emerald papers, or these jewel toned papers, especially this emerald, but they have a red one and of course the gold one that I'll be showing you for the halo here in a little bit. But it's just gorgeous. The silver is beautiful as well. I can't remember if they have a blue, but if they do, I sure would want to get a blue in that jewel tone. Gorgeous. You just have to learn how to work with them as with anything else that you get. All right, so we're just rolling this up into a circle. You basically just want it big enough in the opening here to where you can put a piece of ribbon or twine so that you can hang your ornament up onto the tree, or you can put it on a cork board. Wherever you want to hang it. And even though our head is still wet there, our dome is still wet, that's okay. We're just going to go ahead and place that in there like so. Yeah. I'm just going to put a little bit more glue on this just to anchor it down. And then we put it inside like that. There we are. Okay, and we'll just let that dry. All right, so here's the jewel toned gold. Like I said, they have the silver too, but I think the green and the gold is going to be absolutely stunning. May has got a beautiful birthstone for an angel. Makes a beautiful angel. Take a border buddy. If you don't have one of these, the back of your needle tool will work just fine. Basically, what we're just trying to do is create a larger open circle than, say, our needle tool can do. So the back of the needle tool is about the third rung down on a border buddy. So it works just fine because that is the exact size that we need. All right, so you just roll this up, and if you get enough of it rolled on there, you can take it off and then just do it by hand. I have to resize it because I lost the there we go. It's the problem with taking it off. By doing it by hand, you can lose the actual diameter of what you're trying to do. But I got it back. Okay, so you just keep rolling it up till you get to the end. Now you don't have to put a halo on yours. You can just leave it as is. It looks really, it still looks beautiful without it. But I just think it adds a nice little touch. Put some glue on the end and tag there. Now the jewel tone paper, once again, doesn't quite adhere as fast as regular 3mm paper. The jewel toned paper takes a little bit more adherence time. And I just lift up that inside tag and put some glue down there too as well. So you have to hold it there a little bit longer than normal paper. But it's okay because I still love the look of it. All right, taking our circle here, we're going to shape it into an oval. So we're just going to kind of squeeze both ends down and get an oval shape like that. And we'll be putting that on top of the head like that. Okay, So that is another part of our angel. Again, we're still going to come back to this dress. And in fact, we probably should just go ahead and do that now. So let's go ahead and glue our dress together. I like to make sure that the seams are on the inside. It's nice because I can't tell where that seam is. So we're just gonna glue about a quarter, or yeah, maybe a little bit of halfway down, and glue that together. Yeah, I would say it's more than half. Like that. Okay, so we're going to glue those those three shapes together. That jewel toned paper takes a little bit. Okay, a little bit longer. Okay, so you can see here, you can leave it like this, and it's fine on its own. But I love the to wrap it with another full strip of emerald green, simply because it gives it that little finished look. But what you do here is at the end is you have these little curves that go in to the dress, and it just makes it look, I don't know, just gives it a different look, and it makes it just look really cute. So I'm going to put some glue all around the top and the edge there, and put my strip of paper around like that. And I'm going to hold it there for a little bit because the same old story. It's the type of paper. Okay. And then I'm going to come all the way up here onto the inside. Put some glue there. I might need my tweezers, I don't know. But I'm going to give myself some slack here, and I'm going to push up in there. And I'm just going to be wrapping each of these pieces like that. And I just take some glue and I go all the way around. And of course, you do not have to do this. This is just something that, like I said, I prefer the finished look of this. And this isn't the look I'm talking about just yet. I mean, it's coming together, and it looks really weird right now. You're probably going, what is she doing? Because it doesn't look anything like a dress right now. Okay. And then I'm going to glue these guys together best as I can here. And I'm going to come around again with the wrapping. But this time I'm going to stay on the ends. I know. Just trust the process. We'll fix that. Just don't worry about that. Okay. And I'm pulling it a little tight. This side just wants to keep sticking and coming out. You have to fix that. So if yours does that, I'll show you how to do it. Okay. All right. I finally got it wrapped. I know, but it's so worth it to me. Just little details and little things that just make it all come together. Okay, I'm gonna have to fix this thing before it comes up completely unhinged. And I think if this paper would stick more readily, then we wouldn't have such issues. Okay, I'm going to fix this by gluing it up there. All right. So I've got it wrapped, and then I'm just going to pinch those ends in like so. And it just gives the dress that little flared look, and it looks like it, has a little bit more material to it and a little bit more wave, I guess, if you will, a little bit more flow. Actually kind of looks a little bit like a dress. So I absolutely love the way it turns out. And I know all of that work for a few things like that. But the thing is that you get this, the sides wrapped and the top wrap, and it just makes it all look a little bit more full because you're putting a whole nother piece around the dress itself. So, okay, we're going to let that dry. I have all this. Okay, so now what we need, or what I want to do, is put a bead in the middle here. And I'm trying to bring in May's other birthstone, which is agate. I have several beads here, and I mean, agate is so varied, it's so differential. This would work, sort of. I kind of like this one to represent blue lace agate, which is a very loose interpretation of it. But I like it, so I think I'm going to use this one. Yeah. Let's see how it looks before I decide on that. Okay, let's see here. So we do have all of our angel done. We just now need to put it together. Oh yeah, and then I forgot. Oops. The little birthstone tag. The birthstone tag you can get as a SVG file off of my Cricut page, Cricut design page. I put the link in the description below. You can print out 12 12-month tags if you want, and have your Cricut write them out for you. If you don't have this, you can a Cricut, you are always more than welcome to make it yourself. I will tell you that these tags are about 1/4 of an inch in height. I'm trying to find May. Ugh, I'm just going to dump them out. I can't find May. Where is May? There's May. Okay, my goodness. Let me get back to that measurement for you. So like some of these, It's on a wave. So, okay. So like November here is 1.5 inches. November here is 1.5 inches wide. And so is May. So they're 1.5 inches wide by, yeah, 1/4 of an inch. 1.5 inches wide by 1/4 of an inch. So teeny tiny. So if you want to cut out 1.5 inches, or maybe you have your, your own tag that's like a sticker that'll fit on there that says May or something like that. Or maybe you have a stamp that you can stamp the letters May on or something like that. Anyway, get creative with how you want your tag to look. But if you want to use the Cricut file that I have, you're more than welcome to it. It's down in the description box. Oh, and I love the fact that, yeah, and so I wrote it in gold. Excuse me. So I wrote it in gold so that it would match the halo. Okay, so there are all of our pieces. So I'm going to turn this bead to where I can get that blue agate looking component there. Make sure our wings are there. This and okay, you can see how all of this is going to come together. Hopefully, it's absolutely. It's one of the better ones that I mean, it's my favorite. I just love it out of all of the ones that I've made. This one and probably this one. I made an August one like this, and you can see here I just cut out a tag, handmade, and I wrote on it. So I mean that's a handmade tag like that. But I love that one. I've got all sorts of angels over here. I've made so many. These are all of my angel ornaments. I don't have anybody to give them to, but I kind of like that blue one there. It's just, gorgeous. I've already made a September one. I'll remake that in September. I've got all sorts of different ones here. So you can see, you can do all sorts of different designs, things like that. I've got a November one, which that's another handmade tag like that. So I'll probably redo that one in November. This one looks like it might be October. Yeah. A chunky one for October. Definitely going to be redoing that. So watch for that. Here's the March one I did this year already. So anyway, you can make it. Those are just some examples of how you can make it. Okay, back to this one. I digress. Okay. I'm going to use a little bit of super glue for this bead simply because, and y'all don't judge me for my super glue. I never can keep it clean. Because it is a bead. Okay. Here we go. A little bit of super glue. We're going to make sure that's straight in the way we want it before it sets. And it's set. So that goes quick. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a good sign. Side of the bead. Yeah. You can, you don't have to have a bead, obviously. I just have these lying around. I mean, I didn't use one for October, So, I mean, up to you, however you like to do it. This is just things I had on hand. And I thought it would just add a nice touch. So if you find something that you think would add a nice touch, go ahead and add it to your angel. It's perfectly fine. Okay, and then I think actually I think I'm going to glue the head on first. And since I'm gluing to the bead, I'm going to be using super glue again. Make sure that the hanger is in the right spot. And we'll glue that there. Okay, I've got that set there. Looks really odd. And then I'm going to take the wing with the flared out part of the tip going that way. And then this one with the flared out tip going on the other side like that. So make sure that they're opposite. And then I like to put them up like this. So I'm going to take a little bit of glue and put on either end of those points there. Oops, I missed it. Smear that down a little bit, thin it out. There we go. And then do the same to the other side. I think I can do it here. And you can see here, this is how it looks without the halo. And I'm going to go ahead and get the halo and find the seam there and put the glue where the seam side is. And I'm going to go ahead and get my husking board again, bring it over, and glue the halo on. Okay, that should be dry enough. It's pretty well set. I mean, it could dry a lot more, but it's enough to where I can like still work with it if I'm careful. Okay, so we're going to lay that down there, and now we're going to take our tag and figure out where we want it. And usually, and the reason I like these tags like this is because it hides that dress connection. I don't know if you can see that, but this dress connection here. If I put the tag over that, it tends to hide that. Make it a little bit more refined, I guess. Okay, so I think that's just where I'm going to put it. Okay, place some glue where the adherent spots are. I obviously don't need it on the ends. And I'm going to do that. And there we have it. A May Birthstone Angel. I think it's absolutely beautiful. I made another one that doesn't have the halo or the tag. So you can decide, if you like the halo or not. You can let me know in the comments if you like the halo. These wings I made a little bit more different than these wings here, but they're still made on the husking board. And I used another one of those agates, but I still think you need something here. So maybe some like a ribbon or something like that. If you didn't want a tag, something of that nature, I still think needs to go right in here. So I think that would be something, or maybe another piece of emerald strip that kind of goes around it to act like a little sash. Something like that would be really, really cute. All right, I hope you enjoyed learning how to make a May Birthstone Angel with me. Make sure that you hit like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Until next time, bye-bye.